Hey everyone, this is Wade from fishfindermounts.com. You got to check this out. This is how you're going to make your Garmin Panoptix Livescope system utterly and completely portable. Just amazing. Check this out. We have our quick release base here. We take it off. We have our Livescope pull and beam mount kit here. We take the lanyard pin out, the linch pin out. We take this guy out. We take this. Let's make this fold up. I'll fold it up the other way here, so it's nice and parallel. There's your Livescope transducer. Here's your GLS-10 box on the back. Here's your EchoMap 73 SV right on the front. And now I'm done for the day. I'm going home. You want to check this out? Watch this video. I'm Wade, and you should check us out on www.fishfindermounts.com. Hey everyone, this is Wade from fishfindermounts.com, and I want to do a video here for you guys on our 20 amp hour power center for the Garmin Livescope systems. So you'll have an actual screen. Right now for this video I have the Garmin EchoMap 73 series here, which meshes up with your Livescope system. You're going to use basically a network cable that they provide when you get your Livescope set up that will connect your GLS-10. The camera sees right there in the corner. It's a GLS-10 box, and that has all the connections that will ultimately sync up with the screen, your control head screen. You can see all the connections in the back here. And our power center is amazing because what it does is it makes this whole system portable. Like if you like fishing, you know, ice fishing, maybe you fish off docks, some guys fish off docks, you have multiple boats, you want to move your system very easily, quickly, efficiently, and effectively among those boats. This 20 amp hour power system that we have is amazing for just being able to do that and make it portable and not have to, you know, like, as you can see, if the camera kind of moves out from the whole table here, there's a lot of stuff here. So we're going to take this power center and we're going to kind of arrange it all and make everything nice and as compact as it really can be with a battery included in it. Now this is our power center here, guys. I've got it on the charger right now. It's a 1.5 amp charger maintainer here that we have. It's in charging mode right now. I've got the power switch on here, but we'll just unplug the charger out of here. Put the charger aside. You'll notice that what I just unplugged there, our system has the same plugs as the charger has, so the mating plug. And so do our power cable kits that you'll get with our power center. You'll use these power cables, this is our length, and you'll crimp them on to the Garmin power cables. You'll get two of them, as you see here. This one is for your screen power. You can see the gauge of the wire is actually pretty small. The GLS-10 gauge wire is actually thicker. And I'll go over that a little bit later, but these plugs, SAE plugs, interface right into these SAE power ports that you see. You'll get two of them in the base model. This third socket here is actually a dual USB, so you can actually charge your phone or whatever you want out of here. Maybe a small tablet or whatever you like. And it shows also the voltage that's inside here, 13.6 volts right now. So it's pretty much charged up. And then of course they have these covers for everything. You don't have to actually select this when you're on our website. You can find all of this on www.fishfindermounts.com. You can call us at 1-855-784-3474 toll free. The beginning of this video and the end of the video, all that information will be there. You should subscribe to our channel. We're always bringing out cool stuff like this. You'll get to see all the videos showing that this is coming up, prototypes, first articles, and final product releases. You'll get the inside scoop on when we have new things coming out. So definitely subscribe down below and hit the little bell there so that they will send you an email, that being YouTube. So going back over to this, the 20 amp hour, you're going to get, so when you get your Garmin Livescope stuff, all of these things that you see here comes from Garmin. All of this stuff here, you know, like you'll buy a screen separately when you get your GLS-10 or your Livescope system. You're going to get this transducer. It won't have this piece in it. This is our piece. But it'll have these aspects to it. And we're going to mount it right now onto our 20 amp hour portable power center mount here. You can find it, like I said, on fishfindermounts.com on the web, and it's under shop at the top left corner of our website, and then you would go down to boat mounts, and right underneath there you'll be able to see it at the top row right now at this point, but it should always be on our boat mounts page. It would be like, I think we've got it listed as 20AH Garmin Livescope Power Center, something like that, to that effect. Okay, so what I've got here is these screws here. These actually won't be in it. These would be like out of it, but you can see there's these embedded PEM nuts here. I just had them in there so I wouldn't lose them. So I'll just park this guy like this again. So it's going to come assembled out of the box just like you see here. You got your swiveling control screen mount right here. You can lock that down so it doesn't swivel anymore. You got a nice handle, so when you got everything together you can carry this along with you. This, by the way, this mount here, without any of your Garmin stuff on it, it's about 16.5 pounds. I should also show you the dimensions of this guy. The dimensions are 10.5 in width, and in length we'll call it 11 inches long. So 11 by 10.5. Okay, and the height is, without this plate on, is just under 4 inches, and with the plate on you're going to be about 4.5 inches. Okay, so that's the dimensions. So we're going to take the GLS-10, we'll start with that, the GLS-10 Panoptix Livescope box, control box from Garmin. I'm going to take this guy, and you'll notice too, actually, just before I do that, we've also got the PEMs on here. If you just wanted to buy this just to do your Livescope separately, or maybe you have a very, very large, maybe you have a 12-inch screen, you might want 2 of these boxes, just because, you know, power for a 12-inch screen is quite a bit to run a 12-inch screen all day long, so you might want a couple of battery power centers from us if you wanted. So anyways, what we've got here is we're going to turn it over and put the GLS-10 on the back. Why? Because I'm going to put the screen on the front here on this mounting plate here. So we'll just turn this guy over like so. We'll take our GLS-10. I like to have the connections, as you see here, I like to have them up towards the handle. So I'm going to mount it like this. Okay, on here. So what I would recommend you do first is take these little screws. Now we're going to include these screws with a kit. You're going to have these screws. Garmin doesn't provide these screws, we provide them. I just take them and just going to thread them in with my hand first, because I'll show you why. This is a good way of doing it. Put those in, and then you can see it's kind of got like this sort of light bulb profile here, if you will. We'll just take that guy and we'll just put it over top of the screws, and then we'll just slide it upwards so it's in the narrow part of that light bulb profile. And we're going to take our screwdriver. I'm just going to use this power screwdriver. I'm just going to, you don't need much torque on this guy. I'll just keep my torque low. You might want to use a hand driver for this. And I'll just quickly get that in. So there you have your GLS-10 screwed to the back side or the underside, whatever you want to call it. So ultimately what's going to happen is you will be mounting this vertically, and I'm going to show you how that can be done nice and safely and securely and look really cool too. So now we have the GLS-10 on here. What we want to do is I'm going to take the mounting plate off. Okay, so there's this black T-knob here. You can just spin that off. You'll see how nicely the mounting plate rotates here. And then all you do is you just twist this all the way down. The cool thing about these two is they're simple in design, but they're very effective, and you can just take your black T-knob off with your screen. If you just want to take your screen off this mount, take it inside for the night or whatever, you can your screen will be mounted to this. I'll show you this again, and you can take it in with you to keep it from, you know, prying, keep it from people that might want to get a free shopping day on you. So that's something to think about. Anyways, we're going to take this guy, and because it's going to be mounted vertically, meaning that the box is in a vertical format, we're going to have our mounting plate positioned this way, upwards. So it's kind of obscuring the handle here. Just keep note of that, okay? So essentially what we're going to want to have is we're going to have our mount on here somewhere, like our gimbal bracket, and the control screen. We want the Garmin to be downwards. The Garmin to be legible uprightly, you know? So it's like that. So this is how we want to do it. So we're going to take our 7.5 swivel plate here, and we're going to actually mount the screen on this way, where the flat is closest to the hole, the flat of the gimbal bracket. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that we have our T-knob here, and we need to have enough space so that the bracket does not interfere with the functioning of your T-knob here. So we're just going to screw this guy on again. Here's the holes that I'm going to use, these outer holes for this Garmin Striker 7 Echo Map, sorry I should say, the Echo Map finder screen. We'll match those guys up. Screw those guys on. Low torque, don't use a high torque, maybe just use a hand driver. Or just be very careful. You don't want to you just don't want to strip out anything, right? Is kind of the idea I'm getting at. By the way, these control, the 7.5 plate that I have here that I'm screwing into is actually designed where you could even drill your own hole set if you want. It's very, very thick. And here's our last screw. These screws are included in the kit. We'll include that in our kit for you to use. Now, you can take this guy, put it back on its mounting stud here. The washer goes right on top of the battery box, and underneath you can see sort of the pocket here where it interfaces with. So we just slide that on, and now you can see our control, our T-knob here for adjusting, you know, like if it's tight or not, or you loosen it and rotate it, is not being interfered with. You can get your thumb in there and make the adjustments you want. We want the screen ultimately to be like so, because it's not going to be standing vertical. So I'll just screw this down tight, and we'll take our control screen here, and you can see there's some slots here, so you can just loosen off. You don't have to take them right off. These you know, these knurled knobs, clamping knobs, and you can slide it on. This is a typical design from all the guys, all the fish finder guys, companies, manufacturers, what have you. Oops. It's just, I'm gonna have to bend these guys out a little bit. There, it's on now. Just tighten them up. And if you keep them a little bit loose, loosen them out. Adjustments as you do. Okay, so there you have your screen. You know, if it's sitting on the floor of your boat, you're probably going to want to have your screen upwards, like so, looking at you if you're sitting in your seat or what have you. We also have a clamp-on mount system that we've just released on our website today as well. If you want to put this on the gunwale edge, it's a dual clamp system. I don't have that here to show you, but there's two clamps, and you can put it on the gunwale edge of your boat. It has our quick release base on, and that's going to come into this video. If you feel like this is not sturdy enough, it is a bit rocky here. We've taken measures to make it a little bit more flat in our upcoming production run. But this quick release base, you'll see that there's notches here and here, and you can see that there's these ledge grabbers here designed into our quick release base, and then there's a hole at the end here that will engage with this quick release pin here. These lines actually on the quick release base give you a good indication of where you should be centering the 20 amp hour box. that being the profile of the box, these lines are the sides of the box. So if you take it, line it up with those lines, it's going to engage nicely, and then you see over here, you pull the pin, and now it's in. So that you can screw the the 20 amp hour quick release base. You can buy multiple of them. Maybe you have many boats. You want to move the system between all those boats, and you want to have a quick release base in every boat. So whenever you get to that boat, you just quickly snap it in, and away you go. So you probably want to screw that down. If you're buying a quick release base or multiples, we have a screw pack that you can use, and you can screw it down using whatever hole pattern here you want. There'll be 4 screws. You may not like our hardware. We're going to have some self-tappers and some wing nuts with some machine flat Phillips screws, so you can choose which ones you want to use, or you can go to the hardware store, get your own. I recommend, of course, that you get some stainless steel, since it is in a water-based environment that you'll be using this. So we'll put this back on right here, and again, engaging, pins locked, as you see here, everything's locked. Okay, so now we're going to go to the cords. So I've unraveled all these, taken them out. You can see this is a very thick cord for your Livescope transducer. This is our actually our adapter here that goes in our pole mounts. You can see it on the end of this mount here, right here. This is our pole and beam mount kit, and that is, I'll show you, the exact same thing. That's inside of the pole. And of course, just quickly on this guy, this is our pole and beam mount kit. This is amazing. Very popular product. And you can just take this guy. When you're ready to take off, you can snap it sideways. This is just a, by the way, this pole is very short. This is just a demonstration pole. We have 30-inch poles and 48-inch poles. You can snap it that way. You can take it and tilt it to whatever degree you want. Maybe you have to go this way for some reason, and then again, of course, you can take it and you can rotate it. Let's just put it flat again. Rotate this as you're going to want. We have handles too. We don't have a handle for the video here, but there's handles that you can have, that you can get for us as well. 8-inch handle, machined aluminum. All of this stuff is machined. Beautiful stuff. And then this is your tensioner knob. You can just lock this in and take the slop out of everything, so it's nice and stable. And then of course you can loosen this guy off, and that pole can go up and down to whatever depth you want it to be. So that's that. That's the Livescope transducer mount. We are talking about the power center mount, though. That's the focus of this video. So what we're going to do is we're going to start hooking up your Garmin stuff. Now the Garmin, if the camera looks at me, the Garmin manual is going to show you, or really give you the instructions of how to do this, but here's a visual for you guys of how I do it, and I'm sure it's the right way because I powered this up and made it work before. So this is your, you may not want to use this transducer. I've had a lot of customers that they already have actually other fish finders attached to their boat, and all they really want is the Livescope aspect of it. So you may not even use this transducer. Maybe what we'll do is leave this out of the video, then I'll just make note of it. This is the GT52HW transducer, I believe it is. Your transducers will have on them always a tag from all the manufacturers. They usually have 1 or 2 tags, but you can see the part number here is the GT52HWTM. That's this transducer. So that'll do your standard sonar, your down imaging, and your side imaging. For this particular Garmin screen. But if you're just worried about the the Livescope aspect of it, that's what we'll focus on here. So we'll leave this one blank. Let's just cover it over. We're not going to plug it in. We don't need it for the sake of this video for now. It's going to work the same way as all the other cables. Now, power cables, okay? So the one with the narrow gauge here, again, comparing it. There's the thick gauge. This is your Garmin Livescope. It's got the little fuse built-in line here. Not the yellow one, but this black one. You can see how much thicker the wire is. One of the things that I had to do when I got this is I actually had to cut the end of their wire, because it's fairly thick, and they tinned it with solder. That means the solder is embedded or ensconced in the wiring. I had to cut that off because it was too thick for our little tube, or what you call butt splice tube. So I cut that off and I re-stripped the wire so that there was no solder on it anymore, and then I was able to get it in there nicely and crimp it. So you use these tubes, of course, red to red, their red to our red, and black to black. You know, not everybody's good at this. I know you guys, some guys are rolling their eyes, okay, move on. But some guys, they really don't know how to do this stuff, or they get really scared with doing it. They just don't have any good experience doing it. So I want to be very detailed on that. So ultimately, you're putting on an SAE power connector from us. This part of the cable, again, is from us, that part. You're going to crimp it onto their power cable. So this is powering your GLS-10, this one. This guy here is powering your GLS-10 with this black fuse. This guy here is powering your screen with the yellow fuse, with a thinner gauge wire. You don't have to strip and re-strip. This will already be set up nicely for you. You just easily crimp the butt splice tubes on there. So get yourself a good pair of SAE crimpers, or just wire crimpers, whatever. Not SAE, but just wire crimpers. And we're going to take this guy. Let's do the fish finder power screen, the power cable for the screen first. So you can see they've actually color coded them nicely. Garmin has. There's little notches. I'll just turn this so the camera can see a little better. There's a little tiny like notch, like reverse notch, and then the notch that mates is right here. So it's just going to go upside down so it mates up properly, and then you should be able to screw this on nicely. Again, I've already added I've done this operation before the video. I did the video, so I apologize I didn't do that for this video, but I've already crimped everything on. So that gives you the power cable there, and you can take it. We'll just have this hanging over here for now, and you're going to connect your fish finder screen power to this left, you could call it, you know, this would be your right side, sorry, right of the switch, the port right of the switch, and this is the right way to do it. So we'll plug that in, and the switch does not operate this. There's always constantly power at this SAE connector. The one on the right of the switch always has power. Why is that? Well, because your fish finder itself has a power switch you can turn it on and off with. So you can control the power to your fish finder with its own power switch. Okay, so we've powered that on. Now, the next thing we're going to do is let's do the power for the GLS-10 box, okay? So you can see here's the GLS-10 plug, right? Again, we've added our SAE connector, which interfaces with our box. So you're going to go into this port here, left of the switch, for this. Let's get this out into the light a little bit more in the center of the table. And we're going to take this guy, color-coded red with two contacts, two terminals, female terminals, male terminals in here. And there's a notch on the side here, there's a notch here, so we're going to twist that 90 degrees, plug that in, screw that on. And we'll take our screen over here, if the camera backs up a little bit, and we don't need, we don't need the screen involved at this point yet. We're going to, this is independent. This is not, the power cable is not power going to the screen. It's going to go to a power source. In this case, our power center, again, once again, just like the screen was. And there's your power plug for there, plugged in. So now you've got your two components power done and all plugged in. If you turn this on, you're going to see over here the status LED. It just lit up red. It's obviously not seeing, here I'll do this again. It's not seeing the transducer there, so it just goes off right away. But here I'll show you guys once again. Turn our switch on and you see that there's power to it. Okay? So we've got our power taken care of for both our screen and our GLS-10 control box. By the way, guys, you might want to figure out how to, I'll show you in the video, like, I mean, it's consideration while you're putting everything together to keep things nice and neat. We have cable ties on the side. I'm going to show you that aspect near the end here. Now let's take our, you don't want to have this out of water. You want to keep this transducer in the water. You don't want to be powering this up when it's connected, but I'll just show you the connection there, okay? So I've turned the power off. Here is the transducer. Again, notch up here, reverse notch here, down at the bottom. We're going to mate that up, and then we can screw that together. Okay, that does your power cord. Now, we're going to leave this transducer out of it for now. This is the network cable. One of the things to know when you get your Garmin, the one thing that I was a little bit mystified at first with, is they have a dual cable here for this network cable. It's like Cat5 cable for networking your computer or whatever on this side. And they have this, you have to link them together. So Garmin will show that in the manual, but if you're like a lot of guys like me don't want to read the manual, we just want to dive into it. We think we know it already, so. So anyhow, just be aware that there's a secondary cable you plug together. The network cable you see back here, the connection for that is back on, you know, like this shape here on the back of your Garmin compatible, Livescope compatible EchoMap series. I think they have another series above the EchoMap. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that they would also have those. The Striker series is not compatible. And of course this guy would go, you can see that notch again there, and reverse notch, or the notch here. And we just plug that guy in. Sorry, my hands are in the way. It's hard to show this in the video without getting my hands in the way, because we're starting to get a little bit convoluted with everything. So you can see here the screen is still on. The screen is on right now. The transducer is not detected because I don't have the power switch. Again, the power switch being here, and I'm not going to turn it on for this video because I don't want this to be outside of the water firing off. But anyways, the screen is here. The screen is powers on because power is always to this outlet. I've said that before. And then this outlet here, this power outlet, and the USB connector optional plug that you can get when you're on our website. You can choose this as an option if you want that installed. You can also get a cigarette lighter plug here instead if you want. These two plugs are the power to them are controlled by this switch. If you have it on, it'll be red, and you'll see here. Let's just unplug this guy, and you'll see the voltage meter light up too. So there's that. So we'll just plug this guy back in so you guys can see the final product all together. Let's do this transducer as well. So let's say you want to have this transducer involved as well. That's fine. You know, the connection for that is in the back of the screen. We'll loosen these guys off. We'll twist this guy up. This is this one we capped off. And again, that's the notch system that Garmin has. Although I don't see a mating notch in there. There's a flat for some reason. So anyways, just rotate it until it feels like it goes on. So that's on there too. Oops, got a little too loose with that. Let's tighten that up a bit more. Not too much. So you're going to want to be mindful of these cables. They're going to need to get bent down and underneath. You can see this magnet they also include with the Livescope stuff. Or no, sorry, this is with their GT52 TM or GT, yeah, HW or whatever transducer. That will come, and you'll have to kind of put that around here. So let's go to the cable management. You got all these cables everywhere. Of course, you're going to have some length for your Livescope to go onto here, right? Your Livescope transducer mount. So you're going to have some length for that. Now, by the way, guys, if you're just getting the Livescope stuff, a lot of times, like what they do is they encourage you to put on a trolling motor. But these trolling motors nowadays, like the Ultrex trolling motors, all these different ones, they have their own like navigational brains built in, and you might be putting spot lock on, or you're moving around and things got a mind of its own. So you really need a separate mount to be able to control the Livescope transducer separately from your motor. Otherwise the motor's just going to do whatever it wants, and you're going to be wherever the motor's dragging you, that's where you're looking. So it's just too messy. You're really actually going to need a separate mount ultimately. We have the best Livescope mounts out there on the market, as you saw right here. We've even got a riser system and riser block system and the whole bit. You can put it in a track, so on and so forth. You can screw it right down to a deck, and yeah, it's just amazing, fantastic. These riser blocks, by the way, we don't have them on our website yet, but we will soon. They're 2 inches high each, so if you're on a walleye boat, or not a a crappie boat or a bass boat, and you need to get over your gunwale edge, your deck sunken a little bit, you'll probably want to add some of these 2 inches each. They'll be on our website very soon, but you can call to get your order in if you want some of those as well included. But we're going to go back to our cables here. All these cables, I've kind of have them together. These can be tied up. I'm just thinking of leaving that one out because a lot of guys, they don't probably even care about that. Here's your power cables too. Let's do our power cables. So you can see over here we have cable slots, or cable tie slots integrated right into our power center here. So we'll take the power cable stuff, and we can just take our cable tie, and it goes through here, and you can get it around those first initial cables. And we'll include these cable ties. You guys can always you can even get Velcro cable ties. You can go to, whatever, Walmart or somewhere, they always sell them. Instead of using these disposable plastic ones, you can get ones that you can reuse over and over again. So there's that guy tied up. You can tie up this guy this way. You could tie them all together. There's, however you like to do it. We can take this guy, put it through here. Trim these guys off as you desire. I'm not putting them on there really tight for the video. It doesn't really need to be. Just trim these guys off for now. So here's your Livescope system right here, all together. Of course, this quick release base that I showed you earlier, that would be screwed down to your boat somewhere. So you would release that pin as I just did and pick it up, and you'd probably have this on our Livescope mount probably, which, by the way, is also portable. You pull your linch pin, you pull the indexing pin here, loosen off your tension knob, by the way, pull this guy out, it slides out, and your transducer would be attached to this. You can take this guy and tilt this up, lock it in, and now that's portable. Of course your transducer's attached to this. I wish I would have had that attached already for you guys to see, but you can see how it would be attached. Let's just pretend it was. And there you go. Everything is together. You can put everything in one arm, carry it along. It's still even powered. Turn off your power. Your fish finder. Right? And away you go. Everything in one system. Done. And if you don't want to carry it that way, you want to take your screen off, no problem. You can take this guy, and they usually have covers that come with them, screen covers, so you might put your screen cover back on. Just pull this guy off, and you might unplug these connectors and carry this separately. Put this in a duffel bag separately, whatever you want to do. So there you go, guys. It's an amazing portable system. Power is in it, giving you enough power to give you, 7 or 9, up to a 9-inch screen here with a GLS-10 for a good solid, quite a few hours out in the water, like around a day-ish of fishing. You're going to have power for both components integrated right in here. You're good to go. Just amazing, fantastic portable system. So you can get that on fishfindermounts.com, www.fishfindermounts.com. Give us a call toll free if you like at 1-855-784-3474, and we'd be glad to help you make your Garmin Livescope system completely and utterly portable and powered at the same time. Thanks for watching, everyone.